Hi friends, how are you?
Hi friends, how are you?
Oh, forgot to turn off the other
Friends,
volume
how
because
are you?
can you please let me
Forgot to
know,
turn off the
one,
other
can you
volume.
see me?
Can you please let me know? One,
And
can you see me?
two,
Can you
can
please let me
you
know?
hear
One,
me?
two, can you please let me know? One, two, can you?
All right, just making sure that everything is good to go. Thanks, Daleen. Awesome. All right. And Kimber, hi. Hi, Sabrina. Hi, everyone, and welcome. So today we are going to play in an art journal that I have been making, and others who are here today have been making along with me in a class that I call Snacktime. It's a free offering that helps introduce my membership, The Creative Playground. And hi to Carolyn, to Zoe, and to Diane. Hi, thank you for being here. And so I always try to do a few live events during snack time as well, so that if there's some questions, people can ask them. I do Zoom, mostly Zoom lives, but I also like to come here on YouTube just in case you are new to me and haven't heard about snack time and didn't know that this lovely class existed or that I had a membership. And I just absolutely love my membership. I mean, I hope I love it. It's, something I do a lot. So, hi. So I'm going to be playing in the journal today, and I'm going to put my hands, in the spotlight in a second, and go over a few things, But I wanted to talk about just a slight little conversation about the membership itself, since the whole point of this free class is to introduce you to me. If you're new to me, it's to introduce you to my style of teaching, my creative philosophies, the way I teach, the way I coach or mentor or guide everyone that is in my space. And honestly, I feel like I feel like I do that even through my YouTube videos, which are free to y'all, with my email newsletter, which is called Simply Play. So if you want to join that, the link is below. And also, but also I have the ability to mentor and teach within this membership. And one of the things that I love is that I get to do it live with the group, whoever is available. We have 3 live things that 3 live events I offer every month. And so we get to be in community together and share the creative energy together and feed off that creative energy together. And what I really am doing with the membership is, yes, I do teach projects. This was a project. I do teach you how to paint or collage or, fussy cut or build a whole journal or carve a stamp. There's so much things that I teach, actual things I teach in the membership. However, and what I'm really trying to teach you is how to show up to your creativity. I'm trying to give you tools to show up and to show you how simple it can be. Okay, that it doesn't take a lot of supplies. Simple supplies are fine. It doesn't take a lot of time. Short time frames are fine. I know it's not for everyone. Some people really do work better in longer periods. But if you don't have that ability, you can still have a creative practice. And a minute, 5 minutes, it all adds up after a while. So if you keep at it, like on a daily-ish basis, then eventually, you have something. So, I like to do that. Hi, Kelly. I like to always share that. So the other thing that is important to me is that is the word short. I mean short. I said short time, small. So I like to work in small journals. When I first started art journaling, I probably started in way bigger journals because that was what I was seeing. But for me, because I like to work quick, I like to not feel like I'm going to take forever to do something. I like to work smaller. And so that has been a driving force behind the membership and how I teach and how people show up to me. But that doesn't mean that you can't work big, use all the supplies, and take all day Saturday. This is totally your practice. It's just a way of me showing you that it can really be simple. Okay, the membership is very much about play, curiosity, imperfection, what ifs, finding joy, delight, starting with joy and delight, and just kind of seeing. Curiosity is huge. Curiosity is so huge in my world. Just show up, see what happens. I feel like I have said the phrase, what's the worst that can happen? So many times in the last week or so. And I'm talking about our creativity. I'm not talking about the world. Okay, let's be really clear about that. What's the worst that can happen in the world? Well, many of us are living that. So I'm talking about your creative practice when I say what's the worst that could happen. It's paint and it's paper and it's glue and it's a pair of scissors and it's a rubber stamp, and what's the worst that could happen? What's the worst that could happen? Okay. So let's play, okay? Because today I want to share how I work for 5 minutes, and I'm literally going to time it, and you can play along, all right? So, hi, Debbie. Let me put my hands in the spotlight. So this is the journal for those that have not had a chance to either build it. If you are coming across this video and you are like, what is that fun thing? So this, while I'm here live today, this class is available free to the public until March the 17th, I believe. Am I right with that? Let me see. No, till the 16th, March 16th. So if you see it within the next couple of days, you can join and like binge watch it and make the journal. After that, it goes into the membership. So you're also invited to join my membership if you would like to. There's currently a special going on. It's open enrollment. And so if you would like to join, you get the first month free. It's $24 a month. You get the first month free, and then it's $24 a month after that. Or you can join for a year, which is $240, and you get a free month, which if you spend by the yearly, you end up with 3 months free throughout the whole year. Okay, so there's my spiel and my shameless plug on my membership. So the journal that I had you all make was what I was calling a deconstructed art journal, because the idea was to keep it small, to keep it simple, okay, and to keep the time that you would be able to spend in it short. Here's, I keep coming back to that, the 3 S's. So I had you create like a folio that would then hold bits of what you might create when you were to put, if you bound a whole art journal. So there's, bits of mixed media paper, and it's a tag, but if this was in a book, you would call it a page, okay? So you have like 2 pieces of mixed media paper because it's on 2 sides. There's a little sketchbook here, okay, that you can do. These are little bits of watercolor paper. So it's a way for you to have an art journal, or depending on how you made it, it could be kind of junky and be a junk journal, depending on what you did, that you can work in, but you can pull a piece out and just work on it. And it's small and it's doable. And then when you finish the whole journal with all the different pieces in here, then you can gather them all up, put them maybe in like, a nice beautiful envelope that you decorate, because that part of our practice is decorating envelopes and little folders. And then you can refill it. And so it becomes, an infinity journal of sorts where you just keep filling it up, okay? There's even a little booklet, like a little, journal in here that we made at the live the other day. So, all these little spaces for you to work in, and it keeps it simple. I can't stress that enough. So one of the things that I like to do is I tend to work more in 15-minute increments more than 5, but I thought it would be fun for you to see what does 5 minutes look like when someone is creating. And sometimes you can finish in 5 minutes. Sometimes you just get to a point, and then the next 5 minutes you come back to the art journal, you could do 5 more minutes on that page. So I wanted to do it so that it was kind of in real time. Here's a little prep work, okay? So if you were going to have a 5-minute practice, you want to also not take 5 minutes to go searching through your papers. So I prep my table, and that can be, if you were to say, I'm going to spend the next week having a 5-minute practice every day. So the first day you spend 5 minutes rummaging through your papers, and you get yourself a little collection of papers, okay? So then you maybe spend 5 minutes gathering up some tools. Like I have a stapler and some rubber stamps and ink. I grabbed some stencils. I have my watercolor handy, okay? Because I picked up my stapler, I'm like, I have all these bits of ribbon. I don't know, I'm gonna see what happens. So you kind of have to have stuff around you so that you don't go searching constantly for what am I going to do in 5 minutes. You have stuff out, and then you just go with what's there, okay? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go with what's there. So if you're playing along, some of you already have all your stuff out because that's how your studio space is. It's always out. And I have a variety of things. I'm going to just pick something, okay? So I'm just going to pick this tag. So I have a tag. It's white, all right? I'm like to also talk through my process, but let's start because my process also begins in 5 minutes. So I'm going to start the timer. So 5 minutes on the clock. I have a white tag, which is hard because it's white, but I have information here. Okay, there's some blue up here, there's some pink up here. I look up, and what do I see? I see some blue and pink. I see this pink circle. I'm like, ooh, I like the pink circle. Don't think it. Don't overthink it. Just do it. Just do it. Okay, so I got that. And I'm like, oh, this is kind of fun. I like this blue right here. I'm going to end it with here. All right, let's add this. So I'm not thinking about what is it going to look like in the end? Where am I going to go with this? Oh, what's going to happen? None of that is significant. Right now, we just want to play, okay? What's the next thing that pops in my head? I don't question it, I do it. The first thing that popped in my head just now was, ooh, add some watercolor. And I was like, maybe if I extend the circle out. I don't know. Let's see what happens. Again, this is along the lines of, what's the worst that could happen? I don't like it. Okay. Well, what can we do different? Okay. So that's how I want you to think. There's nothing wrong. You're not doing anything wrong. You don't have to, it doesn't have to be anything amazing. I'm just picking up stuff and looking. Ooh, this is fun. I'm going to rip it. It's just a piece of collage paper. It's got like this stamp on it. This is wet. I know that. One thing about 5 minutes is that you might not have time to heat set anything, but that's okay. Okay, that looks good. I'm going to go to my collection of, I don't know, stamps, stickers. What's going on? Ooh, blue. Look at that. Not everything has to be matchy-matchy. I'm making it matchy-matchy because I'm, thinking out loud. So that, and, obviously, well, sometimes I do talk to myself, but I'm usually not, talking to myself and doing this in my studio when I'm creating, but yes, sometimes I do talk to myself. Okay, so I've got that. Then I'm like, oh, you know what I really love? I love that I did that. What if I extended that as well? And splatters popped in my head. I don't question my head, people. I try very hard not to question. I try to just do. Just do. All right, and then this one needs to be extended too because, well, I extended the other one. So that's what's in, I did the blue one. And now my brain is like, well, extend all of them. And so that's what I'm doing. Not questioning, just playing. Okay. I like the yellow. I see that there's a tiny bit of yellow here. So what if I add a little smish of yellow? I'm also trying not to get it on anything, which is completely ridiculous. Don't do that. I'm trying not to get it all over my table, is what I'm trying to say. All right. That looks delightful. And I will put on a white piece of paper in a second. But again, time's a running here. All right. So then the next thing I'm like, well, what else is sitting on my table? Yes, it's wet. And here's a solution to that. It's wet. I don't have time. I don't want to stop. Grab something else that's blank. Ooh, now I've started number 2. And I also love when you smush down the splatters, what they do. It makes it, oh. So that's super fun. And do I have anything that I like? I didn't bring out any words. Oh, this is kind of fun. All right, and time. That was 5 minutes. Okay, whoops, stop it. That was 5 minutes. Here's the thing about 5 minutes. If you were in the middle of doing something and you had this great idea and you were like having a good time, keep moving. Keep moving. I've covered up my stamp, but I'm okay with that. I love this little piece of black. All right, there you go. All right, so I just wanted to pop back and just make sure I didn't miss anything while I was doing that because I can't read chats and do 5 minutes. So yes, Zoe said you can have a bit of stuff in a pocket in your little journal all ready to go and grab. Absolutely. Part of this can be that you stuff an envelope full of, collage bits in it. There's a pocket in the center here. So if you wanted to like tuck a couple stencils in there, you could actually use it as a travel journal. All right. And Concia is the one who inspired me and taught me not to worry at all about what I was doing. Absolutely. I don't like it if I know I can, if I don't like it, I know I can cover it. The best thing is to keep going and see what happens. Abso-friggin-lutely, people. But look how fun this is. I love it. I have no idea what it says because I have a feeling it's in a foreign language. So there you have it. Click the thumbs up button, ladies. It helps Constance get in the algorithm. Yes, it does. Thanks. Please do click the thumbs up button. It's always helpful. And subscribe if you're finding me new here. Okay, so baby doll, do 5 more. Well, I'm going to do 5 more minutes, but not 5 more of these. But that was, that was 5 minutes. And I think any of you would agree, I would call it done. Would you like this? Would you tuck it in your art journal? I think so. I think so. I would hope you do. Oh, Debbie has some of my goodies to work with. Yes, I do like to mail things out. So I have a thing I sell monthly-ish called Elements of Delight. Plus, if you're in my membership and you do accountability challenges with me, you get happy mail too. It's fabulous. All right, so I'm going to keep going. Don't you worry. So this is a way to just see what happens. Okay, I have to say I'm delighted by this. I love that. All right, so I'm going to put it to the side because I also don't want to flip it over and work on the other side because it's drying. But guess what happened while I was doing that? I smushed down something, and now I have a base to work on. Okay, so the clock is set again. I wanted to also find a white piece of paper. So I'm doing this on white, not a busy background because I know it's harder for y'all to see if it's on a busy background. So, couple things. 5 minutes, but you saw what I did where I took this and flipped it over onto wet paint, and now I had something to work with. 5 minutes can also be taking all of your papers out and maybe fly specking or adding a little bit of color to each one, or just adding a little bit of book paper or collage or whatever to each page. And that way you absolutely have something to work off of. So I got lucky. Not that I got lucky because, this was how this class was built. I have a tag on the top, or a tab. I am getting my tags and tabs mixed up. I do know which is which, but my words are just getting crazily mixed up. I've said tag and tab for the last 2 weeks in almost so many videos that now I'm confused. But this was my starting point because, did I say fly specking, Diane? Okay, I'll explain that in a second. This is my starting point because I didn't have to think about it. Automatically, this said, try those colors, okay? When I flip it over, there's less blue and more pink, more black. So maybe that would do it. If I use the word fly specking, that is a very back in the day word from like the 90s, toll painting and crafting. And to fly spec is basically to splatter, but with an old toothbrush. So when you do the flicking of the little paint, it looks tiny. It's actually kind of disgusting because fly specking is referring to really bad things that flies are doing all over your piece. But I am so used to saying that back in when I taught for so long that we would, at the end we would fly spec everything to end it, and now we use the word splatter. So we should just splatter people, not fly spec. I forget that fly specking is actually really gross when you think about it. All right, 5 more minutes on the clock, and I'm not going to think. I'm just going to start. I'm going to start. Yes, that's what fly specking is. Okay. All right, so we got 5 minutes on the clock. I've got something already. The first thing I did is look up what caught my eye. A stamp. And I also have the yellow caught my eye. This is very much about what is catching my eye. What's catching your eye? Oops, that's not the stamp pad. And go with that, okay? This stamp pad is no longer yellow. I think at some point it got contaminated. And it is a very strange olive green color. But that's okay. Maybe that's the color it's supposed to be. I don't know. And I started with one circle, and then I was like, I was going to do my random circle thing, and then I was like, ooh, what if I just link them across the page? So now I have a linking set of circles across the page. And the next thing that pops in my head is fill in a circle. Ooh, I should fill in a circle. Let's see what happens if I was to just fill in one circle. I like that. Good to know. Welcome if you are new here. If this is your first time with me. By the way, my plan is to do YouTube Lives. This one is definitely in conjunction with my Snacktime class and my membership enrollment and all that stuff. But I'm planning to do them every other week on a Friday. So if you subscribe, I will post it that it's coming out. And then, of course, if you're on my newsletter, you will know about that as well. Because I do post that. I tell everybody everything in my newsletter. All right, so I'm still just seeing what feels right. I don't know. I put way too much watercolor up in here. And so I was like, well, I guess I better spread that puppy out. And now I've got too much pink. There's pink here. What if I change this color into something else? Now I've got dark to light. This isn't dark to light. What if I add a little dark so it's dark to light? I've got some green. What if I go back in and kind of add like a third version of green? If you have a question, I'm not looking, because I'm timing this, I'm not looking at the chat. So do know I will come back and address it. All right. That's super fun. The one thing about working with watercolors is that you will have to, they do have to dry a little bit, but that's all right. We'll figure it out. Let's see what else is sitting. Okay, I have a word. And yes, sometimes I'm like, I don't know what to do right now. Oh, here, I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna stamp some more. Because it's wet, I don't necessarily want to, whoops, totally missed. I don't necessarily want to add some collage right this second, because it's not gonna stick that well. But I can do something else. So I'm going to take my stamp and I'm put the stamp on the tab and the tag, because then your eye connects them together, okay? I also want some stamping to go off the edges because it helps your eye soften. I always try to liken it to, buying a piece of fabric and you're cutting out from a repeated pattern, and how your eye just goes off the edge of it. So that's always good. Do I want anything else? I don't know. I'm rooting around. What do I have? The watercolor's still wet, so I'm actually going to see if I can pick that sucker up. I don't know. I actually don't know. Nope, not working. Yay, it didn't work. Okay, let's try something else. And I'm trying until the time runs out. There you go, babe. Boop, 5 minutes. Okay, so is it done? I'm thinking. It doesn't have to be done. 5 minutes is just the playtime. It's just the container of time to do something. It does not have to be done. It doesn't have to be pretty. I tend to I'm focused very much on finishing this for, the time period. I will not go in a huge art journal and try to do 5 minutes and finish and not, a big 8.5 by 11 spread. It's just not realistic, okay? So if you want to finish things, then you need to keep them small enough so that you can just work on it for a little bit. This is the type of thing that you could work on for 5 minutes and call it beautiful, okay? Okay, let's see. Yes, flies away. That's hilarious. All right. Any questions? Thank you. I really love that tag. It's just so pleasing to the eye. Thank you. The colors, the shapes, it just makes me smile. I love art that does that. Thanks. I do think it needs a little something. And I have this paper. This is regular printer paper that I printed out the word, a bunch of words. Wow, that was English. I do have English words. I printed out a bunch of quotes, and then I put baby oil on the paper, and so it tends to make the paper a little bit translucent. I have found that depending on if you have the paper against something else, the oil will tend to come back out a little bit and it gets not as transparent as it used to be. But that's all right with me. I still enjoy it and think it's fun. And this quote seems appropriate for today. Practice makes progress. So I'm going to pop that on my tag. Yeah, it's like Zoe said, it's more translucent than transparent. I've seen it, some of mine have been kind of transparent, and I've had people use all different kinds of oils, but I just used baby oil because that's what I had. It's a fun thing to try. And, the other thing that I would recommend is if you tried it, is to, you can print out a bunch of words, but you could also put some acrylic paint because on it, and it makes the paper get translucent, but the acrylic paint stays vibrant. So it's almost like disappearing around the acrylic paint, which is super fun. So you should try that and see. So there it is, a 5-minute tag, 5-minute plus, because I stopped and added a word on top of it. So now I can add it to because here's the thing, right now these are all white and it's kind of like, oh, they're just white. But once you start adding in all the pages, it's like you're instantly zhuzhing up your journal. Okay, and now you have all these fun things that you can pull out. It's absolutely fabulous, okay? Baby doll, are you talking about if you're talking about this peeling back up? No, I used a glue stick to glue it down, so I hope it doesn't peel back up. It doesn't, the oil, this has been dry a long time. I wouldn't have put the oil on it and then glued it right away. You leave it for like a day or two and let it kind of evaporate and do what it needs to do and dry out, okay? So no, the glue stick will do wonders. All right, so I'm gonna pull this tag and let's see what we're doing. I'm sorry that you're in bed today. I'm glad that you at least, can watch. And don't forget, a tray table, like one of those bed tray tables, makes a delightful art surface if you need it. Just something to think about. All right. Okay, so is anybody playing along with the 5 minutes with me? I would love to know that. Are you playing along? Yes, yay, okay. So spell zhuzhing. Oh, okay. I have to look that up. Zhuzhing. I think it begins zhuzh. Oh, yeah, there it is. Okay. Dan, that's a great question. Hilarious. Hang on. I have to bring all the windows back up so I could spell zhuzhing for you. I believe that's how you spell it. According to Google, zhuzh. That's how you spell it. It just means to spruce up, make it more interesting, add a little something, something. If any of you watch Queer Eye, I think Jonathan Van Ness is the one that likes to zhuzh, a little zhuzh. So that's probably where I got it. I'm glad that some of you are working with me. Yay! I'm glad. Fabulous. Okay. Let's see what we got here. I'm like looking around because I also want to like have a little thought process before I dive in. And then I'm going to hit 5 minutes. I'm going to do one more, although I might need to take a break. Sometimes if you're just doing 5 minutes, oh, that was fine to have. I don't mind. I actually have seen the word zhuzh so many times and I keep having to look up how to spell it. So that and a tchotchke. That's another word where you're like, how do you spell the word tchotchke? So that's another one of those weird words. If I was in a spelling bee, I would fail. Just know that spell check is my friend. All right, I have to breathe. Why don't we all take a collective breath together? We'll take a deep breath together and let it out. Because sometimes we get a little like about our art practices. I know I do. Sometimes we get a little about the world and what's happening in our personal worlds, what's happening in a bigger world, community world, whatever, however big you want to get it. And we need a deep breath. And we just need to stop, take a deep breath, let it out, and then glue something down. So let's glue something down. All right, I'm going to start at 5 minutes again. Again, what's the first thing that's showing up? It's this feather stencil. I also see below it that I have a lot of green. Remember, feathers can be anything you want them to be. Okay, I got a stencil. The next thing that pops in is I still have this burgundy or red, pink, and I wanted to outline the feather, but I didn't want it to be on my table or, you know, stuff I put out, but colored pencils live on my table. I have a bag of paint pens that live on my table. My glue stick is always available. You know, things like that are always around me. All right, so I've got a feather. It's delightful already. I love this mark here. So I'm looking at my, oh, look, I still have a piece of it. So I still have a piece of the printable that came from. So I'm going to glue it down. I don't know if it's necessary, but I just, you know, I'm trying, again, I'm not questioning, I'm just doing. Say it all together with me. What's the worst that could happen? Y'all are going to be tired of hearing me say that. All right, what if, I like that shape. Now, this is, you know, this is this printable, so what if it's this shape? Oop. Okay. So what if we just glue some of these down? I don't know. Let's see what happens. I have glue on my finger. All right, so I've got some colored pencil or something sitting here. So it's marring up a thing. So I'm going to grab some color. Kind of, I don't know, I don't like the colored pencil mark. It looks silly, so I'm just gonna make it look like it was supposed to be there. Does that look like now it's supposed to be there? Maybe. Maybe not. So I'm also going to take the little bit of the collage and just bleed it up a little. Can I add some watercolor on top of my colored pencil? Sure. It's working, so why not? I need some burgundy. I'm looking on my chart to see what is kind of burgundy-ish. Because when in doubt, splatter the heck out of it. And I like this is actually bleeding in to the watercolor that's still wet in the background. And I'm loving that, so I'm going to make it even more blendy and bleeding out a little bit. The other thing, whoops, and there it is, 5 minutes. Now, my brain is telling me I'm not done. Okay, so the next thing that had popped in my head was there's this like kind of a gray black line that's sitting in this circle here. And this looks way more dimensional than this does. So, whoops, too much black. I picked up some black watercolor, which got a little too black there. Because I like the little bit of yellow that's sitting in here. And so as much as I started with just a colored pencil, I can also take inspiration from this little section and add it to my feather. The other thing I'm seeing is that there's some blue happening. So I'm going to see, yep, this indigo might work. I'm not in love with the burgundy as the outside, but maybe I can go over some of it with the blue. So this is your also permission. Turn off. If you're like the 5-minute timer went off and I'm not done, I'm in loving this. The 5-minute timer can be your, I don't want to create, should I create? Oh my God, do I have time? And you do it, but then you find that you're enjoying it and you're in the zone. And so I want you to just turn the timer off, keep going. Keep going. I'm ripping my paper because it's wet. I'm also going to just do a little blue. Because I saw that blue, it's feeling like I just want to go around the outside a little bit. And again, the way I also tell my people, anyone that's around me, is that anything that I do here, you can judge and decide that's not what you would have done. I wouldn't have gone that way. I would have done something else. And I think that's such awesome information for yourselves to decide how would you have done it differently. Okay? It's like a Christmas feather. Oh, I don't know. Just kind of went down a Christmas rabbit hole there. All right. Oh, Baby Doll said, pro tip, breathe near the glue for a quick pick-me-up. Yes, depends on your glue. I'm not sure how much the Yoo-hoo is going to pick me up, but, you know, maybe a stronger one. All right. Breathe and glue. Love it. Yes, absolutely. Breathe and glue. Oh, Marjorie, thank you for spelling tchotchke. Yes, tchotchke starts with a T, y'all. It starts with a T. So that's hilarious. Thank you for that. Sweet notes. You're speaking in French. Thank you for sharing it. In French, instead of juge, they say richochière. That's probably a terrible French accent, so excuse me for butchering the language. Oh, thanks, Kimber. Yes, I love that, and again, this is you going through your pieces and just putting a little something something on the pages, and then what can you do with it when it comes down to it that you can experiment with, okay? All right, fabulous. So another thing I can add to my journal. And look how beautiful it looks tucked in there. Lots of zhuzhing. Lots of zhuzhing. Okay, I'm going to do one more. So this time, what am I going to do? I have watercolor paper. So obviously what I've been doing for the last three were very mixed media. All right. So that's what I do. I wanted to put all the things on all the things. So, I had the stamps and the watercolor, and pretty much that was it. Stamps and watercolor, and then a little piece of collage that has wording. So this was, collage, watercolor, colored pencils. What else did I do? I think that's it. Okay. But I'm trying to keep it simple. If you have time to put all the things on all the things, that'd be lovely. So a piece of paper. Oh, y'all, look what happened. So it wasn't dry when I was moving it, and this bunched up. Man, I couldn't make it do that if I tried. That's delightful. I love that. Okay, see, happy accidents. It moved, and now it's this gorgeous like swoop of tissue. So this had washi tape and collage and watercolor, and some writing, but that was collage as well. So you can go crazy. So what if I just have a little piece of watercolor paper? And I just want to practice a rose, maybe. Okay. Baby doll, if you would like to join the membership, if you would like, you can make a comment below and I can send you a link. There should be links below that to Snacktime and also to the membership page that you can get information. But you can also, I was going to say, I don't want you to put your email in a public setting, but if you go to my Instagram, you could DM me and I can send you direct links. All of those are work. And Zoe said she's going to pop in a link. So any of those are fine. Thank you, Zoe. All right. So I'm not going to, I don't need to set 5 minutes to show you a rose because it doesn't take me 5 minutes to paint a rose. But the other thing, one of the reasons I put watercolor paper into the journal was because I also wanted to have a place that I could practice flowers. I love to watercolor flowers, so why not put some watercolor paper in there so that we can practice them. And I'll show you my down and dirty, easy watercolor rose. I'm going to bring the camera, just give me a second while I bring the camera down just ever so slightly. So that you can see it more in the second, okay? All right, so a down and dirty watercolor rose starts with a few dippy dots on the center. I tend to go a little bit up from center of the paper I'm working on. I'm using a round brush. You can see how much I take care of my brushes, y'all. Then I start doing little commas, thin, thick, thin, all right? I am not, this is a caveat, I am not a watercolorist. I am a mixed media painter and artist who happens to use watercolor. So if you want to do and learn really traditional watercolor techniques, I am not your gal, all right? But I will teach you how to mess around with watercolor and have fun with it, but not all the traditional brouhaha. Here's why. I don't know them. I just do my own thing. All right. A bunch of loose, comma, thick, thin, thick, thin, thick, thin, thin, thick, thin. Okay. The other thing I want you to watch is that they didn't all begin and end in a line. So if I had this inside 2 commas, the one above it started past one and ended past the other. If you end up starting and stopping them all in the same, it looks like you can slice the rose in half, and you want it to be a lot looser, okay? A lot looser. So you might take 5 minutes the first time you paint a rose, but after that, and you paint enough of them, maybe a couple little smushes of green. I'm trying to be leafy, but really, honestly, I just want some green. I sometimes like to tuck green up inside the rose, so it looks like it's sitting in a bush. You could also pick up a little bit of loose watercolor or just some wet paint. Just some water, because there's still, some of this is still wet, and smear it out and fill in the back. So it has some, kind of blurs it out a little bit. So Zoe's not able to put the link. All the links that you will need are in my description. So just go there. If you're in doubt, just leave a comment. I get all the comments and I do get back to you, okay? So I can also add a little more green, maybe up a tone, up there. There you go, a rose. Now, if you are a fanatical doodler, then you could go back in and add some doodle marks. I do that sometimes. It depends on the roses that I'm painting. But sometimes I just leave it as is and call it good. All right. Does anyone have any questions? I know that people are here from Snacktime and are watching from Snacktime. So if you have a question about that class, please let me know. I have gotten some emails. So I do know that, people are watching. Yay. Thank you for doing that. But, if you have a question, don't hesitate to reach out. So the other quick flower, I'm going to paint really quick because why not? I'm feeling flowery and it's, it's sunny here. It's absolutely gorgeous here today. Is maybe a hydrangea. Maybe I'll do a blue hydrangea. Let's see. And this is my version. So hydrangeas are pretty much like little 4-petal flowers. 1, 2, 3, 4. But when I do them in watercolor, I tend to just blob around. But you can. Remember that with watercolor, you have to start light and get darker. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you want to count and it helps, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 smushes close together. But with watercolor, you have to start light and then you can add dark on top. Okay, you can't make watercolor lighter. Well, there's ways to do that. That's not a correct statement, but anyway, it's better to go light to dark. That's how you have to do it, as opposed to acrylic paint, which you can start dark and then go over because it's opaque, whereas watercolors are translucent or transparent, translucent. All right, so I got that. Let's see, I need another color on top. So I'm going to start just layering some color. So who knew this was going to morph into a let's paint flowers class or video or whatever. But this is what I intended when I designed the video, and designed the folio and the Deconstructed journal, was so that you would have a place to say, ooh, you know what I want to try today? Oh, I saw that flower on Instagram, or I watched this YouTube video. Excuse me. And I'm going to try that. I have a tiny little piece of watercolor paper hanging out here. Let's do it. Okay. Sorry, had to have a drink. So this is one of those things that instead of having this art journal that maybe has a theme and you don't know what to do with it, and you just pull out a white piece of paper, card, or whatever you've done from your stack that you've filled up, and just go for it with whatever little technique you've seen and you want to try. It could be your trying journal. All right, that got very dark. I don't know that there's a hydrangea that has indigo in it, but there you have it. It's my hydrangea, and I will make it any color I want. Same thing, because I don't have the space necessarily to make leaves, Like a true like hydrangea leaf is this big heart-shaped leaf. I'm just adding some green around the edges because hydrangeas grow in these bushes, or well, there are hydrangea trees. They grow in bushes, and I just want it to look like I'm looking straight down at all the gorgeousness that is the bush. I'm even putting some green on the inside so that like you could see through. Okay. And if it was dry, I might go back in with like a paint pen or like a yellow, like maybe even some yellow gel pen, and make some dots so that it created more of like the little flower clusters. Okay. So now I have two more things. They're still a little wet, so I can't put them in, but to stick inside. Look, a little rose sticking out. Delightful. Goes with the color. Now, here's another tip. If you're doing something like this, I'm going back up, so give me a second. Ooh, or gold splatters. Yes, gold splatters. Gold. Everything is always beautiful with gold. Is some gold splatters. But here's another thing for you to think about if you are looking for inspiration for what to put on the tag or the piece of paper that's sitting in the pocket. If you're pulling this out of this pocket, use this as your inspiration, okay? So if I was to pull this out, I would be able to say, well, I have stripes as an inspiration. I have blue stripes as an inspiration. I have these black kind of, really hit or miss kind of, they could have been colored pencil. It could have been a Stabilo all. It could have been a black crayon. So now I can start looking at what I pulled the piece of paper out and use that as inspiration to get started. All right. There's a half circle here, which ties back to 1, my stamp, and 2, something round that's sitting on my table with some watercolor that I could kind of make a start off with. There are feathers sitting in this. I'll bring it up. So you're probably like, what? There's feathers? There's feathers. Okay. So there's feathers because it was a collage piece of paper originally in my art journal. So this is all also inspiration for you to go forward in you've filled your entire journal, if you make the pockets out of gorgeous paper, with more inspiration. Okay. The flower that's in here, the snippet roll that is sitting here, that is like so much inspiration, even down to the stitching that's done on the snippet roll is information for you to do. If you do the pockets, these pockets are 3 different printables. So I've got all these different elements. You can go down to a microscopic level and say, I really love how I'm going to start is I'm going to start with this green colored pencil line. And you pick up your piece and you sit it next to it and you go, well, that seems interesting. What if I just do that first? All the way around. And you're off and running. Because all you're doing is making the first mark. Whatever the first mark is. Okay? Hi, Carol McDonald. Welcome to my first time at my life. Okay, so that's what I really want you to think, how microscopic can you get inspiration from, okay? How microscopic can you get? The white dots, the circles here, the black lines here, all of those are inspiration to just, I don't even have to, go very far. I could just sit here with this. Boop, boop, boop. I could have pulled out a paint pen. I mean, there's a million ways that I could have gone with the black. Where would I have gone? There's so many things to do. So I can just sit here and look at this and keep going, well, what's next? Okay, what if I swooshed some blue into some of these? Well, okay, that's kind of fun. Well, this pink looks like it's, fly specked for those that have been here a hot minute. It looks like, oh, that's funny. Let's do that. This is for you, Diane, if you're still here. By the way, for those who are like, what the heck? Fly specking just means splattering. It's just a gross thing, a gross way of saying splattering. So what if I took my toothbrush, okay, and I put some watercolor on it? So you can see what a toothbrush does, like how really delicate the oops, it would be helpful if it was in camera. How really delicate the spray of the paint is. If you're using acrylic paint with the splattering and a toothbrush, then it gets a little more thick because you have a little more water in it. But you know, that ties in to that. All right, which is delightful. Okay, and then I can just keep going, and I could sit here with this sitting next to me and use that. Okay, this is my inspiration to do that. I don't have to go anywhere but here. Okay, and I'm just keeping going because I can't seem to stop. So it is 4 o'clock, but you know, no one says that I have to just stop. I'm using this because I saw those. Okay, so again, what's inspiring me? Ooh, and the watercolor picked up and now it's like crazy pants. Yeah, the tapping the brush, most people splatter, a toothbrush gets your entire hand completely like disgusting. Most people will splatter with like any kind of brush in your hand. A lot of people like a fan brush because it's splaying out, all the bristles are splaying out. I always like try not to assume you know what a fan brush is, but a lot of people like to splatter with a fan brush because it disperses the paint in a wide arc because it's a fan brush. But you can just use the brush that's in your hand. Okay, the more water you have, the ploppier it is. I mean, that is a very technical term, y'all. It's ploppy. Aren't you glad I shared the ploppiness with you? All right, so I'm going to keep going because now I want to finish this. Because it's super fun. And I'm looking to see what else is sitting on my desk. And again, no, don't think, I use the word again a lot, y'all. I've recently figured that out. Mostly because I talk and say things a million times. So I say again because I reiterate. Maybe I need to be fancy and say, to reiterate, this is what we're going to do. Although that sounds very pretentious. All right, so I have this lovely little piece. I think that's super cute. I don't like all this other stuff here, so I'm going to take this. I'm going to add that in this corner. Now I'm off script from this because I wanted to see what would show up. My corners are rounded, so I'm going to just boop, take that off. What else? What else? I'm just looking around to see maybe some washi tape. By the way, I brought this here just to show you real quick. This is, I lost my train of thought. I just did a video on how I made all these vintage tapes. I have been watching like how to make vintage Scotch tape, vintage, antique tape for a while. And everyone, ooh, I found this. I might want to put that on there. And everyone was using specific alcohol inks. And I have some, but I was like, I went down a what if rabbit hole, y'all. So I tried 4 different types of mediums in order to make these delicious fun things. So watch for that on Tuesday. It will be my YouTube video for Tuesday. Okay. Just the FYI. All right. So we can put the hydrangea back in. I want to finish this, but I want to tuck these so I don't lose them on my table. Y'all look how cute that is. Okay. So the birds, maybe. I also have these delicious, I say delicious because look how bright they are, alcohol stickers. This is also a video on my channel. which was recent. This one. Okay. I like this one because the colors were not, they went with it, but they weren't that, which is super big. Super big. Super, super. All right, I've lost some of the blue. So can I go back and add some of that in? Possibly. I'm going to go back in and just add a couple more of those. Pick up my brush, which I have flung to the side, and then I'm going to put the blue back because I liked them, but they got a little lost. Okay, they also start to pick up that blue. I'm noticing some yellow, kind of like an orangey yellow there, which I'm loving. So I'm going to extend that out into the piece. Ooh, okay. And then I'm going to look and see, do one of these gorgeous little cute birds. These birds are by a local artist here. I'll just stick, this is her name, Allison Stoizer. She is local to me, and she does the most gorgeous nature illustrations. These are traditional, but a lot of hers are like birds with wings and, you know, a raccoon with big butterfly wings. I mean, it's absolutely cute. So let's see, do any of these, I'm very tempted to put this crow on here because it's just large and in charge. But I think I'm going to go with the chickadee. Okay, so I'm going to put the chickadee there. Again, my English is failing me. And I'm going to go into my watercolor. Now, this is a vinyl sticker, so I'm not 100% sure if paint will go over it. No, it won't really. No. So what I was trying to do was just blend the feet in a little more. But I have a thought. What if I pick that up and I try to pick this sticker up, which might not be a good idea. It's a paper sticker. There you go. That feels more like he's standing on the world. The world as we know it. All right, and then I would like to do a little more black. So I think that many of you have told me that me thinking out loud and as I'm going helps you immensely. So I hope that's still true and that you enjoyed that I was doing this like, you know, like this today. And that I'm going to extend this leaf down. And that it gave you some ideas on how to work with your own creative practice. And, you know, try 5 minutes, see what happens. You know, if you're waiting for coffee to brew or something to boil, just do that. Do a little 5 minutes and see what happens, okay? Oops, that's too thin. I'm looking for a gel pen that works. A gel pen that works. Because I would like these to be a little more, the color pencil is blending in too much for me. So I'm just going to do that. Okay. I think I'm done, y'all. All right. I just want to make sure that I didn't miss anything. I see you all are enjoying the chat, so that's good. I'm glad that you're enjoying each other's company. Yes, thank you, Kelly. Yeah, I mean, I always sometimes like to hear why did someone choose that? So this is very different than something else I did today, and is different from what's here. But look at that. My bird is sitting on top of my pocket. I could not have planned that better myself. Okay, so yes, here you go. I like your 5-minute method so much that it's enough to get the momentum going. Yes, that's what you're looking for. Just get yourself started. Get yourself started. And now once you start filling this, and it's not just white paper, look how beautiful. It's super zhuzhy. Y'all, super zhuzhy. I love it. Okay, I am going to put my face back in the spotlight. So, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope that it gave you, again, some inspiration. I hope it got you excited. If you have considered joining my membership, you just get more of me. Who doesn't need more me? And, and it's also a great way to, there's so much in the membership, besides the fact that, as far as features are concerned, there is, well over like 70 different kinds of lessons within the membership. But the benefits are you showing up to your creative practice, holding yourself accountable, being okay if today's not the day you create. I will be the first person to tell you that daily doesn't have to happen. Daily-ish is fine. 1 minute, 3 times a week. Well, that's 3 minutes, isn't it? That's what you need. You just need to start somewhere and slowly build the habit and let what happens happen. And I'm there in the membership as an accountability person for you, someone to ask questions to tap into each other's energy, to show up. A lot of people join my membership to hold themselves accountable to show up. Okay, so that's also a reason to do it. All right. We do, as I was saying, we have 3 lives that happen every month. 2 are on the weekends and 1 happens during the week. The weekday one is called the Silent Studio because it is a space for you to come and work with people, but without interruption, and we're not chatting. We literally put our volumes on mute. Okay. And then we have an art and chat, which is exactly what it means. It is an art and chat. So you bring whatever you're working on and we chat and people share information and ask questions of each other and of me. And then we have what I call the sandbox sessions. When you play in a sandbox, it's meant to be experimental and fun and just see what happens. And what's the worst that happens in a sandbox if you don't like it? You just smash it, move the sand around, and start again. So those are lessons where I actually teach something or demonstrate something, or we work together on a project. Those are also live. Those are recorded. So those, even if you missed a lesson, they get put into the classroom. So anything that's an actual lesson is always recorded and put into the classroom. Okay. So if you have questions, let me know. Thank you all so much for being here today. I'm glad that you hung out with me and that I hope you enjoyed it. And what's the worst that can happen? Exactly. Okay, I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay, that seems to be everything. So again, if you have a question, comment below. If you're watching this on the replay, please feel free to let me know if you need something or needed something explained further. A lot of the videos, if you are new, please subscribe and go back into my channel. I have a lot of inspiration that's free here on YouTube for you. Okay, so thank you all for being here. I will see you all soon.